Hello and a good afternoon to you all who have tuned in to watch the Formula SimRacing ACE category tonight. We are on the beloved Suzuka circuit and it's going to be a packed-full event, if I pronounce that correctly. At the moment we're in Q1. Not the obvious name in the commentary booth, James Sadler is not present, so to speak. I have a little bit of a computer issue, so I won't be crashing pre-lap 5. So I've decided to join Jeroen Kweekel here in the commentary group. Say hi to the viewers, Jeroen.
Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome as Chris already said. I'm glad to have you, Chris. Obviously we usually do dual commentary for WC. I'll be racing tomorrow in WC, so that's not gonna happen. However, we can still commentate over the course of this race, of course. Then.
Yeah, we're gonna have an awesome night. So is everyone else. Hopefully everyone on track as well. Because Suzuka is really an old school circuit, and if you're going off, there's not really a runoff area like you would have in, for example, Monza. Not the version we've used this year, but in the real Formula 1 calendar. You know, it's going to be an eventful race, and a lot of guys eager to have tested for this race. I mean, Suzuka circuit, one of the most favorite circuits in my opinion. And I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Oh no, definitely not. It's one of the favorites. I mean, we left Singapore, the street circuit behind. Luckily, we got to do a track like this. I mean, what else is there? Of course, you have Spa and what other track, but this is definitely one of the best tracks, which is right up there.
Indeed, and talking about best things, who's gonna set the best time in this sector? At the moment it's Giuseppe Ragusa, the man with the big smile, if you have him on Facebook. Always smiles like Daniel Ricciardo. Puts on a 30.9 on the board. Michele Di Alessandro is following him closely on 2/10 with 31.1. But Rens Klopp is topping the board with a 30.562. So Rens instantly looking competitive in his good-looking Twister car. And eager for a pole position. We haven't seen a pole position from Rens for a long time. Definitely one of the most competitive drivers on the field.
So first couple of drivers are setting in their lap time right now and heading out straight away with just over 6 minutes to go. Two compounds we will be using here for this weekend are the medium and the hard tire. My proposal was actually to use the soft tire as well. But hey, it's the way it is. No kind of rain predicted or anything like that. Also for tomorrow it does look like we will have a dry race in WC as well. So no mixed conditions there, that's for sure. And maybe indeed a little bit sad, especially around a track like Suzuka. Maybe a bit of rain would spice things up, make it a bit more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Not like 2014 interesting, but you know, it's yeah, that was messed up. But no, definitely we have seen it in Spa, and it was an awesome race to watch. Not really for me to drive in, but having said that, these drivers are ready to kick it up a notch, so to speak. And Paschalis Gergis at the moment in P1, a lot of drivers as well who haven't set a lap time yet. But I also think we have some back of the grids by Michi Hoyer, Victor Ivanov, Guilherme Prieto, and Alessio Campos. But yeah, for the rest, 20 drivers on the track, better than the 18 we had last week around. So that's looking nice. The Wald Nell making his debut in ACE. He used to drive Pro, but he drove WC last week around. So it's gonna be something to look at. And have you heard about Ben Horrell and Roberto Fernandez?
No. No. Definitely new names in here.
Hopefully So if we go on board with Paschalis is going into a flying lap, sees a go speed in front of him, and that's the go speed car of, who is it?
George
Pantelis, your lovely teammate.
And Paschalis actually has a very interesting day today, because after this race he will be doing another 8-hour event, 8 hours of Silverstone. So obviously we wish him all the best of that. Yes, indeed. He's got an endurance race after this one at Silverstone, so that will be interesting for him. But first of all, FSR is doing good so far. First place, a few hundreds ahead of Rens Klopp with a 130.5. We'll look at that test spot once again, or for the first time really. with 3.5 minutes to go. Currently the cutoff time is a 1:31.2. That's where we are looking at obviously for this first qualifying session. See who can get himself into the top 10. Maybe the world now can do something spectacular today, while others have a back of the grid penalty and profit from that, or take advantage from that, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. Well said there, Jeroen. And Pascalis is looking up for another flyer, so to speak. But I think he's relatively safe in order to get it into Q2. But the pack is relatively bound together as well. It's only 1/10 or 2/10 that separates each driver. Actually, the top 7 is packed within 1.5 tenths. So there's a lot to fight here for, and already showing that we're going to have an epic battle for pole position. So what's Pascalis doing here? Chooses the closest line to the finish, and he's putting on a PB on the board, a personal best, with a 30.422. So not yet seeing 129s, but I don't know if it's possible. We have to wait until tomorrow.
And also Mashuli, nicely up there as well, third place at the moment. Did a good job in Singapore. Fortunately for him, made a mistake in the second qualifying, but nonetheless he was quite good. Also had a decent race in WC, I remember, with obviously his teammate Bigazzi taking the win there.
Wow.
And Mashuli actually goes first at the moment with a 1:30.3, 8 hundredths ahead of Georges. So those guys have upped their pace quite a bit, I have to say.
Yeah, definitely. And Eros was, of course, the man for the podium, for the last podium spot, number 3 in Singapore. But unfortunately, his strategy didn't work out, and he got stuck a little bit behind someone. So it's obvious he is looking for revenge. Personal revenge would be nice for him to get at least the podium here. I mean, if you're contending for the WC podium, then this should be a piece of cake. But you know, a lot of competitive names, like I said earlier. It's often not that easy. But getting pole position here on this track, you know, being the first to go into turn 1 is really crucial, because it can be eventful. You know, certainly since we don't have any runoff areas.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's one of those old school tracks, as you have explained already.
Yeah. I love it. And the riders have to be a little bit more careful, shouldn't they?
I agree. Like the Parabolica, you know, with the new asphalt being right there as well. I mean, it's a bit pointless and stupid in my opinion. Just need to see, in my opinion, some hardcore racing and then have some grass or whatever gravel over there, and not just asphalt.
Indeed, and that's then really what separates the great from the greatest, so to speak. If you are prepared to take that, you know, a little bit of more speed, knowingly that if you go off, you go into the barriers, and your car is like a Daniel Kvyat wrecked, you know. So who made an awful mistake, by the way. You know, on the exit of the first corner of sector 2, he was just, you know, wrecking his car. I think we all seen it. And it was just a horrible experience for him. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets demoted back to Toro also. But of course, that comes from a Dutch guy, and that's not really a fair judgment now, is it?
Maybe not, but to be honest, when you look at it with neutral eyes, you can see that Verstappen is clearly a talented guy. Not only Verstappen, I think also Sainz is definitely a talent for the future. Nonetheless though, that's all in the world of F1. We are in the world of FSR, where Rens Klopp is currently on the lap. But he made a mistake in the second sector, so I doubt he will be really improving. But who knows, during the event and during the session I should say, obviously there is more and more rubber developing on the track, helping the drivers setting quicker lap times. Mashuli is on the lap as well, same for Georges, so we'll see what those guys can do. HTB currently in 10th with the cutoff point, 1:30.9, so everyone is in the 1:30s in the top 10. And Klopp in the end did improve and puts himself up to 3rd place, so that is still impressive despite the mistake I saw from him.
Yeah, definitely. And Mara Godek went into the wall 20 seconds ago when he made a mistake in one of the S's, and that's often fatal here. I mean, getting one corner wrong messes up the entire flow you have. We all know it as drivers. Michael Antovsky is going up with a 30.2, so he is pretty safe for Q2, so to speak. And basically, the Wild Nell is the only one that can threaten Ruud Heestebeek here, but he's not going to do it. Picks up another spot though, moves him into 14th place after being 15th. But we have our Q2 for the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Only about 4 free drivers left to set the lap time. One of them is Paschalis Georges, who said it has a very busy day. Opens up the DRS, and what can he do then? He goes to P2, but only by 7 thousandths of a second. So it's a really close qualifying here, Chris. And that is good to see.
Ooh,
In
and
the end,
Odas!
Odas stops it. Fantastic lap from Odas. That is fantastic to see. Out of nowhere, pretty much, Chris. This guy comes up and steals first place. Very nice.
Yeah, really. It's like German football, you know, they always score at the end. You know, but this is really great, well played from Martin. And he's looking up for the challenge. Didn't expect Hodas to be there, to be honest. No offense to him, but you know, looking at the last pole positions and race wins, Pascal is looking so incredibly fast, and so is Antovsky. And Masculi looking really confident as well. So really a surprise for me. Hopefully not for him, because that would mean that he has another lap to make the best out of it. But 3 drivers into the 30.2s, basically separated by 30 thousandths of a second. By a wink of an eye, that's really nice. So Q2 about to start. We are going to drive with a park fairway setting. Hopefully there isn't going to be any problem related with that. Everything should be sorted, and unlike the format we have adapted into the WC series, where we now have 10 minutes of Q2 and everyone is just allowed to drive as many laps as they possibly can, and hopefully fast as well. These guys will still have one flying lap in order to set their best time of the day. Mess it up and you are starting 10th. Mess it up a little bit less, and you might get away with a clean pole position here. I think the book is wide open. I mean, we have seen crazy things in Q2 here already. Don't refer to last years, but you know, mostly in previous races where there were a lot of people making mistakes, and we had, you know, different people on pole position. So it's really a battle for everyone.
There are a few issues right now going on in the chat. That's why it's taking a long while before we get to Q2. Apparently Fabrizio Gobbi didn't allocate in time, but he did drive here, and in the end he was in fact 10th. If he well, I don't think what the procedure is, but perhaps Francesconi is going to go up to 10th and may participate in Q2.
If he didn't allocate on time, it's very simple. He has to start, I believe, from the back.
From the pit lane.
It means that pit lane now then. But it means Michael Francesconi is going to Q2 as well. Let's see how Blair Disley, the admin in charge, the race director, the Charlie Whiting, is going to rule this out. Unfortunate for Gobbi though. At least he got the P10 spot. And this is a track you don't want to start from, well, at least last, I would say. It would be necessary to take a lot of caution into the first few bends. And that's the thing, if you got clean air in front of you, you're basically the pace setter. Definitely during the first lap with the S's. If you have clean air there, or if you're in the dirty air, it's gonna compromise your driving really a lot. And I'm also curious to see on the tire wear from some drivers. I mean, it's a very demanding circuit in terms of with rubber. That's also the reason why the decision was made to use the medium and hard compound. But you know, it's still easy to overdrive your tires, and not even with going fast. But if you know, put a little bit too much effort into the steering, if you're a little bit too greedy onto the throttle, you're just gonna burn your tires up. And I think the one with the best drivability, with the best clean driving style, like Jensen Button is well known for, will have the best shot at the victory here. Because it's really tempting to just go fully through the S's, you know, and getting those early lap times in. But you know, if you have to pit after 5 or 6 laps, it's not gonna do anything good for you.
Top 10 at the end of that session, we're looking back at it, separated by 4.5 tenths, something like that. Top 3 separated by under 300ths of a second, quite impressive. Then when you see the top 3, there's a bit of a gap. Well, how much of a gap is it really? To Eros Masciuli, then another slight gap to Klopp. But well, definitely the top 3 have got to be looking strong. But still, I give a person like Mashuli or Rens Klopp also quite a good chance at getting pole. It's all about managing the lap itself. Make sure that you don't make any mistakes, as that could cost you quite a bit. And even when you are, especially during the S's, when you are off the racing line for only a couple of centimeters or something like that, it's going to compromise you for the entire S sections basically. So it's going to be really interesting. See what these guys can do. We're still waiting. We'll see what's going to happen here. There's definitely a bit of a chat going on. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm flaming the Walt now. He's asking me, Chris, why are you not racing? And I'm saying to him, because I don't want to drive on the same track with you, the Walt. You know, yeah. Have a nice race though. No, I'm just messing about with this guy. I don't know what it is. But yeah, hopefully things are going on the way. Blair History is now saying wrong allocation is pit lane start in caps lock, so you know it's serious. You know, if someone uses caps lock, he's pretty mad at least. Blair History isn't going to allow Fabrizio Gobbi, excuse me, to participate in Q2. So he is being dropped from to the back of the grid, moving to Q2 with Michael Francesconi. Love these Italian names, really.
So Francesconi indeed getting up to the top 10 there, and getting into Q2. They're still waiting then. D'Alessandro is already talking about a lasagna party or whatever. I do think that Q2 is going to get on the way right now, which is indeed the case. So that's good. Enough waiting. But let's see what these guys can do then. I expect most to go out on the medium tire, obviously. And the first one who goes out, in fact, is I think Eros Mashuli. Yep, it is Mashuli.
My screening, he has hard tires, hard compound tires, but that might be a visual bug.
Medium.
Yeah, you have him on medium?
Yeah, Mashuli is on medium for me.
What will it be? Well, it's obviously going to be medium, but...
Full wet.
Yeah, wet tires just blue all the way.
Yep.
Sometimes shows on the broadcast though. Nevertheless, Eros is going out on track and definitely not lacking any confidence. He's ready to get this over with, and hopefully for him, he is going to set a flyer of a lap time on, like we said, Suzuka. This is where it all counts. This is where everything comes into play, and a lot of tension maybe as well for these guys. I'm sure they're in the zone, but you know, making a mistake on this track is so easy. I mean, take Hockenheim for instance. You know, turn 1 is a little bit hard, but you know the rest, it's easy peasy. There are so much different parameters here where your lap might be a little bit messed up. So many, you know, possible errors to take because it's not a regular circuit in terms of turns. I mean, if we go on board with Eros Mashudi, this spoon complex, it's really nice as well. You can't actually take the completely inner apex. It's a double apex here, and that is why Eros is showing. He didn't hug the apex on the first. He is doing it in the second part of spoon. But get over that line and get your car onto the curbs. You know, you're going just straight, not in the wall, but your lap is completely ruined there. Coming onto this complex though, 130R, very easy corner, but then coming onto the chicane here, getting too much curb and it might ruin your lap as well, but Eros Mashudi is looking strong for a flyer, and here he goes.
Mashuli opening up the DRS, and this will be the first benchmark, as we already said. Chris, I couldn't agree more with you, by the way, with everything you have said. Mashuli, however, entering the first couple of corners, has a bit of a twitchy moment, but looking so far so good, I would say. Gets early on the power as well, and now the S's come into play. Left, right, and left once again. Mashuli getting a bit of honesty over here, and that is exactly what you don't want. Gets a bit compromised over here. Again, you see him being pushed wide, goes up the hill, then hits the apex nicely there. That was good from Mashuli on the power as well. And then the two Declan corners, Chris.
Yeah, and a little bit of a twitchy first sector, but definitely up to pace, even with the mistakes counted in. You can never have a perfect lap here. There's always, you know, something that will happen. But Eros is looking strong at the moment. Looking really strong.
Spoon corners then. 31.6 for a sector from him. Now let's have a look at this. Two very important corners. Hits the first apex nicely. Runs it out wide once again. Gets down the gears and hits that apex nicely as well. Now get on the power. Uses all of the track, that's for sure. And heads down to 130R right now, obviously flat out. But then it's the chicane you've got to prepare for. Jump all over those curves. and have a good exit for the run to the line. 130R first though, no problems there obviously whatsoever, lights himself up for the chicane. Let's have a look at this, brakes down to second gear, it's the apex nicely, runs a little bit too deep, but could have been worse definitely. Carry definitely good apex speed through the first apex. It's the DRS button once again for the run down to the line, and he does a 130.7, Chris.
Yeah, and that's counted in with the ducks obviously as well. A little bit of some little mistakes there as well, costing him 2 or 3 tenths. But this is the benchmark. This is what it's going to be. The first up to the finish line is, I believe, Michael Antowski, or is it Michele Alessandro? No, it's the Alessandro indeed. Let's see what he's doing. He only got to 9th place in Q1. So don't expect any wonders from this lovely Italian guy here. Definitely trying his heart out, racing his lungs out as well. And let's see how he will go. 42.069 in sector 2. A small dash to the finish line here. Takes it easy and conserved, so to speak. Not many wheel spin as well. So let's see. Takes the closest racing line to the finish. Ooh, it puts him second with only a few thousandths of a second to spare. And Paschalis Gerges now finds himself in front of Michael, who is on a flying lap. Hopefully for him, Paschalis will move out of the way. And he does so in the end. But Paschalis is allowed to have a little bit of a mind game. A little bit surprised that Michael didn't try to get a little bit of a slipstream there, but his decision. Kodak putting on a 31.0 onto the board. He's not contesting for pole position. It's Michael though. Here we go. Ooh, has a little bit of a twitchy moment onto the curbs there. Chooses the fastest racing line as well. Ooh. Tries to win the race here, but he is winning for pole position at the moment. 30.5. Definitely a big improvement compared to Masudi here.
A couple of drives to go. One of them is Ruud Heesterbeek. Next to cross the line, I think he is. Comes to the spoon section. Giuseppe Ragusa in the meantime has gone purple in the first sector. We'll have a look at the Ragusa who comes after Heesterbeek. Ragusa about 0.08 of a second quicker than Michael, and Heesterbeek looking a bit shabby. Not too great on the exit of spoon.
Yeah, Ragusa just having a little bit of a twitchy moment, but he's looking really well controlled under the racing line. Gonna be really interesting to see what he's doing, but what is Ruud Heesterbeek doing? It's a little bit of a tight line through the last complex. Let's see what he can do. Can he challenge for a top spot? Not really, but close. Really close. Nice try from Heesterbeek there. And now it's time for... It is Rens Klopp to show us what he got.
Have a look at Ragusa as well. Ragusa is in front of Klopp, and Ragusa is actually quickest so far. Can Ragusa beat Michael though? That's the question. Yes,
Boom!
He can. He lowers raises the bar, and Rens Klopp has got no answer to that.
I did have answer to Michael, and chaos breaks out. Martin Hodas flying over the line as well. So 10 seconds ago, we still had a few different pole sitters, but it is going to be not Paschalis Gerges, it's Giuseppe Ragusa who's taking pole position here in Suzuka. Paschalis Gerges really frustrated with that effort. He puts himself into P5, and by the looks of it, Paschalis had many tenths to spare, and he has to deal with it basically, but definitely not a lost cause. I think Rens is really happy to be alongside Ragusa. Ragusa looked really controlled, and for Rens being on P2, it's a good result.
Yeah, George just lost a few tenths in the final sector. Probably got caught up by the chicane. That's a possibility. He had the fastest second sector though, but he starts from P5 then. Will be a bit of a challenge for him. That's for sure. Probably not the position he wanted to start. That's for sure.
And Gerges is afraid that he might have stuttered.
Yep. Yeah.
If you leave and quickly check. Get your popcorn ready, guys. Well, we still have warm up for you guys. Anyway, I am looking on to my right. Are we having a commercial break, Sam? Who's sitting right next to me? Yes. Yes. Oh, we have. So. Enjoy this next commercial break, and we'll see you in about 2 minutes time. See you soon.
Welcome back to Suzuka. During the warm-up here, drivers get good chance at getting a fuel for the high fuel load, 170, 180 liters, something like that. It will be just over 7 minutes to go in the warm-up then. And as I said, it's mainly there to give the drivers a good feel for what the car feels like with the high fuel. Ragusa then starting from that pole position. Alongside him is Rens Klopp, who finally is not really back because he was there. I remember for Singapore as well. He missed Spa though, unfortunately. But it's good to see him back, and he's on the front row, so I'm sure he will be happy about that one. What can Hodes do as well?
For some time, didn't he?
No, right. He didn't really have a lot of time. I think.
Yeah.
Was quite busy.
Or how we say in Dutch, onder de plak zitten. Huh? No, I'm just joking there. I'm just joking. I hope you can have a laugh about it. No, seriously, it's really nice to have him back. Indeed, the talented driver who won the championship. You won now. The Pro Championship last year. Unfortunately, we didn't see Rans as much as I would have liked him to see in WC. You are saying you are driving WC tomorrow for Go Speed as well, or?
Yeah.
For Origin? No early breaks up. You're like Romain Grosjean, no?
Maybe.
Nah, it's going to be really exciting to see you race again in WC. But I have to ask you, Jeroen, is a 29 possible here in Q1? I mean, obviously you raced with Journey Simonsits, right?
Yes, yeah, but Journey
what did Journey do?
Journey hasn't done any kind of qualifying laps either, I think. I think Journey started practicing yesterday or something like that, so I'm a bit worried, to be honest, but we'll see. But it's possible. I think so, yeah, I definitely think so. Depends a little bit as well on what kind of rubber or reroad, whatever you have on the track, but
and temperature as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I don't know the temperature right now. Do you have that information?
Yeah,
as well?
We've got the ambient temperature at 19 and the track temperature at a default 20 degrees.
All right, so 20, not too cold, but a little bit chilly, I would say.
Yeah. It's always at 20 though, I believe. I'm not entirely sure how it works. So definitely, the ambient temperature is definitely being picked up by the plugin we have on the server with the dynamic weather. However, the track temperature seems to be always stuck at 20, whether that's just a visual bug or whether the track temperature actually is 20 degrees. I'm not entirely sure on that one.
By the way, I'm really curious to see what Michi Hoyer will do since he has a back of the grid. He will most likely go on through the field like a hot knife through butter. At least I hope so for him. It's going to be a cautious first lap, I'm sure. And if it's not going to be really cautious and things and shit literally is going to hit the fan in the first corner, we might see a race restart even. I mean, it's basically impossible to not avoid it if you run into them with like 150 kph 200. As you would on the start through turn 1. It's basically having faith amongst your driver that's driving next to you that he will stick to that line and he is noticing you. And you know, it's a lot of faith in these first few bends right here, but a lot of opportunities as well for the people who happen to have a bad start or some sort.
Looking forward as well to what Hodes can do. Currently second with a 135.0 obviously, but yeah, I just like to see him giving a challenge to the leader of the race.
Ooh, and can we go on the replay with the Wild Nell? Sorry to undercut you a little bit. The Wild Nell just not noticing Ragusa there or thinking it might fit, but you know, it didn't fit.
It didn't fit the Walt.
And he obviously has Kimi Raikkonen pointing at the red light now, standing next to him, saying, dude, you know, open your eyes. Like in Canada. So Roberto Fernandez putting himself onto P7, driving my fabulous Networks car for the time being. What did someone say in the reply? He should replace you? Well, no. But he is doing a really nice job, 35.4. On this short of a time base, he had to hear that he was driving Nevertheless, I'm really happy we have a full grid for Ace today. 20 drivers who are unleashing, well, not carnage, hopefully, but definitely chaos and terror onto the track here. And I'm really curious to see who will win this race eventually. But more curious to see if we're gonna see a really nice proper race battle, because you know, during the qualify sessions it was so close with everyone here on to the first 5 or 6 places. The racing pace can tell a completely different story, and well, hopefully it isn't, for our sakes as viewers.
Well said, well said. I couldn't agree more with you. I really hope that the first couple of corners are going to be clean with the whole field in general. But to be honest, it would be a big shame if we lose someone on the top 6, 7, whatever. Because as you have said, Chris, they are all so closely matched. And I get a feeling that if the top 10 can make it clean through the first couple of corners or something like that, we may face a big battle for the win, for a podium place, whatever. Because the times are relatively close to each other, and that's really what I'm looking forward to.
Same here, I'm just really sad that I'm not driving, to be honest. Did do a 33.8 in the with 100 liters, but you know, with a lot of cars on track, my CPU doesn't, you know, calculate it correctly, and I become a literally a danger for other people on the track, and you know, I cannot afford it. I mean, you know, I might have DNF'd a lot, but I never really took someone out this season. Like, you know, I'm taking you with me down the barriers. No, definitely not. But yeah, having that said, it's still nice to watch. I mean, it's going to be such an eventful race. I feel, but. For instance, I'm really curious as well, because we had like 11 or 12 drivers left after lap 1 in Germany, and I really want these drivers to, you know, not forget that moment and to avoid situations like that, because it's gonna make life a little bit, well, harder, not only for us to do the job rightly and give you guys at home the amusement you all deserve, but you know, 12 racing drivers onto a track it's really not what we want to see. I mean, the USA Grand Prix of 2005 was one of the most boringest races I've ever seen in my life. Still saw it though. So we are making ourselves up for the starting procedure of this race, and well, it's a smiling Italian on pole position, like we said, Giuseppe Ragusa, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's just gonna drive away into clean air. That pole position, if he makes it as the leading driver into turn 1, he might have a really big chance into, you know, extending his lead over lap 1. The dirty air into the, especially the first sector, cannot be underestimated. I mean, it's a different world than driving into fresh clean air. George Pantelis is giving a love tap to his teammate. Or to Hodas, I should say. Marek Godek showing maybe the back of his tongue with a 34.197 compared to second place Martin Hodas with a 34.646. Hopefully it's not going to be like that in the race, but Marek Godek isn't starting on pole position as well. You know, just all excitement and hype for the first lap of this race. Are you feeling it, Jeroen?
I have a good feeling about this, to be honest. I really hope it's going to be a good race. But at the same time, you don't really want to be hyping it up too much, because you know, in that first corner it can all be over for some people, I guess you could call it. But let's not talk about that. Knock on wood, and hopefully it will all come fine and turn out fine, I should say. 43 laps during this race, and about 180 liters in the tanks, as we are about to see the formation lap.
Yeah, yes, indeed, and I believe Michael Francesconi, who aborted his lap into Q2, but is on P10, obviously, is starting the race on hard compound tires. Well, he's in a hurry, isn't he? Wow. Francesconi wants to get it along. But yeah, hopefully he will do a nice job indeed. So the formation lap with Giuseppe Ragusa on P1, Rens Klopp on P2, Martin Hodas P3, Miguel Antofsky in P4, Paschalis Gergis in P5, Eros Masciulli in P6, Michele Di Alessandro in P7 and Ruud Heesterbeek in P8. Marek Godek in P9 and Michael Francesconi in P10. The rest hopefully you can see on the left. Those are not worthy to be pronounced on the stream. They should perform better into Q2, shouldn't they, Jeroen? Getting burned
very harsh.
Yeah, nah, I'm just joking around, but hopefully for them they will do better. Certainly one name who doesn't belong into that 16th spot is Michi Hoyer, but Herr Michi, jetzt geht los, oder viel Spaß und Glück. That's my nice German there for Michi. I'm sure he will do a nice job, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's into the top 10 after lap 1.
Yeah, starts on prime as well.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if he DNF'd after lap 1 as well. I mean, it can go, K-Ham can, and Carnage can be unleashed, and I actually wrote a message to Blair Disley, like, if 7 or 8 cars retire, please at least consider a race restart, because 12, 13 drives onto the track. Not really nice, and a lot of people have tested a lot for this. I mean, 1 week ago they were driving in Singapore and going back-to-back races. It might be a little bit epic. So here we go. Jetzt geht los, and well, Francesco Gobbi is obviously in the pit. I was thinking, why is he 12? But he obviously had a back off the grid or start from the pit lane after that incident in with his A location.
So Ragusa doing the final couple of burnouts and will try to find his grid slot, which shouldn't be a problem. And then we're going to wait for Roberto Fernandez, as he is also going to make his debut, I believe, in FSR. So that's very nice. Ragusa in the meantime has found his grid slot, and alongside him lines up Rens Klopp. We'll see what these guys can do. Martin Hodes pointing his car very much to the right hand side. It'll be interesting to see what these guys can do as we are looking at the lights, Chris.
Take us through it.
Absolutely, we're waiting for those lights then, and whoa! Hang on.
And it's gone.
There has been something has gone on with Roberto Fernandez. What a big anti-climax that one was. Blair Disley, there is some confusement regarding Roberto.
Yeah, Blair Disley actually said, did I put your last? Or, well, yeah, he definitely put him last. Roberto is saying, yes, I am last. But you were 20 in qualify, you were 13th, that is correct. So maybe Blair Disley didn't put the grid order in a correct fashion. Obviously every driver, who was else driving just shut his mouth and was like, okay, gonna get this extra free spot. No, but yeah, now people are talking about Gobbi. Yeah, a little bit confusing for these guys.
Exactly, yeah. We'll have to do the formation lap then all over again. We'll see what's being decided on this. Apparently Fernandez qualified in 13th place rather than 20th. That is true. So there is a bit of confusion, that's for sure. We're waiting then, as a few others are going out on the track yet again. And yeah, do a few laps.
Maybe our viewers want to see the Thrustmaster commercial again. Yay! No, just joking. But do buy.
Well, we can also yeah definitely. We can all say that go to a Thrustmaster store right now and get one.
Do they actually have stores?
Probably
stores
not.
Dedicated to their wheels?
Probably not. I'm
maybe
not
in China though, where they are made. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, hopefully we will get underway soon. there is saying, okay, thank you guys, I will try again, he has to use caps lock all the time though.
Yeah, every single race director has to show some kind of, you know, some kind of, well, not really a dictatorship, but whatever.
Yeah, I'm really hyped to do this. And I'm sure these drivers are as well. And hopefully they don't get a little bit out of their rhythm. I mean, this can create a little bit of tension. You know, otherwise we would be in lap 2 and I would scream, "Oh no, Carnage, what the hell?" But maybe that has been avoided as well by this red.
Yep.
It can be anything.
Who knows? Yeah, indeed, maybe it is a bit of a distraction for the drivers. However, some drivers are out on track at the moment, trying to get their rhythm sorted. The grid order is being done once again. We'll see whether it does a better job this time. Let's definitely hope it will. Should be going into the race in a very few couple of seconds, I presume, and we should be racing.
Yeah, well, these drivers are taking advantage of it by just, you know, doing a little bit of more warm-up laps, so to speak. But yeah, I want to get the show on the way. I mean, I think the most the guy with the same attitude is definitely Pascal Gergis, who has to drive 8 hours. But does he literally have to drive 8 hours, or he's gonna swap drivers, right? He's gonna swap
there is a driver swap, so I presume it's gonna be 4.
Is that noob guy Mark Webber coming there as well?
Who? Mark Webber?
Yeah. Yeah, some Australian guy. I think Johnny Simon knows him.
Okay, is Johnny Simon a friend?
Oh, sorry, is Johnny Simon?
A friend of Webber.
I don't know. I mean, in Australia, you know, as long as you're from down under, you're a friend of everyone.
Friends. Yep.
You know, and you have to be, because everything in their nature is going to kill them. Even the soil is killing them. You know.
Even kangaroos with guns.
Kangaroos with guns and you know, with their fists up as well. To be honest, you don't want to fight a kangaroo. They're gonna smash your teeth in. But even spiders, you know, biting you, and black mambas. I don't know. Furious koalas on LSD. You can't imagine it, and it's going that crazy. I mean, you know, we can flame on Australians anyway, because, you know, they're not here at the moment. They're all fast asleep with their summer coming on. You know, in our winter, obviously. But yeah, it's time for us to go back to the racing, because giving these guys an extra 10 minutes of warm-up isn't really that fair as well. You know, they should just get along with it and, you know, show us what they're worth for.
And coming back to Georges, he's actually replacing Kuba Brzezinski and Nikodem Wisniewski, who usually race over there. But Kuba is at racing tomorrow in WC, and Nikodem hasn't been here for a little while. He has been at the start of Pro though. But both are participating in the GT Academy finals at Abu Dhabi, so we wish them both best of luck, obviously. Wow. And it's fantastic to have those names in there. I mean, it's also the reason why Kuba isn't there. Kuba this morning stepped into the plane alongside his mate Nikodem then, of course. So they are both going to Abu Dhabi.
So if he wins that, he's going to have the drive.
I think that's usually the way it goes. I'm not entirely sure how it is this way.
Is he?
He's 1 year old. He's 18. He's 18.
Oh, he is 18, so he does have a driver's license. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's 18. I think it was the finale or the finals. I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was, to be honest. So we wish them once again both best of luck.
Yeah, definitely. But you have to have your driver's license. I mean, you know, imagine Max Verstappen coming there, you know, and saying like, you know, want to compete in GTs. He's like, oh, you know, it's impossible. But Max Verstappen actually has his driver's license now. He turned 18 a day after Suzuka it was. He got his license, obviously. Oh, Singapore, yeah. And but obviously, not obviously, but Jenson Button actually, he failed for his driver's license the first time. But you know, yeah. But he was 20 when he first joined Formula 1 with Williams back then, and you know, if you're not that known, I mean, if you're a racing driver who still needs his license, and your instructor is not going to tell you how to drive. You obviously know. So what? It's just there for a formality. Like this warm-up lap, that's going to be a formality as well, because my experiences with warm-up laps is that they're basically cooling down your tires. The only thing that you actually can warm up are your brake temperatures, and you have to have those on around like 400 or 500 degrees, maybe even 600, because it's a relatively long dash to turn 1. You don't want to have brakes with that are ice cold.
Raghusa once again started then the formation lap. Rens Klopp following him and Martin Odes, that's top 3. Antonovsky once again impressing quite a bit in 4th place. And Georges, we talked about him plenty of times, in 5th. Raghusa having a go at it, that's for sure. Creating a bit of a gap to Klopp. Hopefully we won't see this in the actual race. But who knows, I mean, Raghusa has looked really strong. We'll see what he can do over the course of this race, of course. But Rens Klopp is not a person who is easily beaten, and especially during a race knows what's going on in terms of tire management and when do you stop, things like that. So we'll see. Rens Klopp definitely having some intelligence in there, and can be a driver who's really managing the tires and make sure that you take the best out of them, or get the best out of them rather.
Yeah, well said there, Jeroen. And hopefully for these guys, they are all making it through into lap 2 of this race. Singapore was actually, and I said that last week, but Singapore in real Formula 1 was actually the 5th race ever in the history of Formula 1 where every driver got classified. Did have that retirement from Grosjean, I believe, but he still got classified because it was like 3 or 4 laps from the end. So well, there might be one day that's gonna happen in Formula Sim Racing as well, but there's always gonna be one retirement, and I'm gonna guarantee you that it's gonna happen in Suzuka as well. I mean, Bono Huis last year, who was leading the race, I believe, back then, after a mistake from Morad or a cut, actually crashed for the first time in 4 years.
I think it was in Dagner 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in Dagner 1. Just going over the curb, getting bottomed out, getting your left side of your tires, your left tires onto the grass, and just going straight into the barriers. So if Bono Huis can crash here, you can crash here, and I definitely will crash here. A little bit of self humor there implied. Shots fired at myself. Jeroen, take us to the shots that are going to get fired here from Raghusa and hopefully from Klopp.
Yeah, let's see whether Klopp can get a good start. Hodes once again lines himself up, not being that much pointed to the right. Oh, he actually points to the right again as soon as I said that. Waiting though for Alessio Campos this time, who is in last place. Victor Ivanov in the penultimate place, and Fabrizio Gobbi makes his way to the pit exit right now, and he will be waiting for his pit lane start. Staring at the lights though, it's Saturday the 3rd of October, and next FSR race is going to get underway very, very soon. Lights are on and they are out right now, or at least they are green. A good start from Raghusa, that's for sure, leaving Klopp behind. George is in the background up to P4, and there's a car in the grass. That's a go speed, I believe. Already corners even before the first turn. Let's have a look over here. Raghusa still leads from Klopp. Hodes in third, and relatively clean so far, I believe, at the start.
Yeah, great start from all these drivers and keeping it together and close into the S's. And apart from the driver being outside onto the grass, everyone is safely through, and that's really nice to see.
Oh, we have a spin!
No, George Statsman is making a retarded move and going onto the grass. What happened there? George just onto the S's and losing the car basically, or getting a tap. Excuse me there, that was a tap from the go speed, but the go speed was already alongside. Just too eager on the first lap, and it's really, really messed up for these drivers. That could have been easily avoided.
A bit too much commitment, especially for a first lap. Who's leading the way then, as said before, no position changes at the top 3. But then we see Georges in 4th and Heestebeke in 5th, Mashuli in 6th, and Antonovsky has dropped back then to P7, but is on the back of Eros Mashuli.
It was Godek, by the way, causing the incident. That's not the first time Godek is causing an incident there. Just completely out of line. Gobi is telling us he has got himself a penalty and that's obviously going to get removed. But at the first lap it's Giuseppe Ragusa leading, but it's Rens Klopp knocking at the door. Can he make use of the slipstream? Indeed he can. Ragusa isn't going defensive, he is going defensive now. Has to leave the outside open, that's a little bit cheeky from Ragusa, closing that door after he already made his move. But you know, gets away with it, I should say. We have to remember we are racing, but we have to allow each other a little bit of space as well, definitely with this double apex in turn 1. But Rens Klopp showing that Ragusa cannot drive away even in clear air, for the time being at least.
That's good, the top 3 is relatively close to each other. Hodis needs to make sure he can stick with Klopp as well. DRS will be enabled soon. Paschalis cannot really close up to these guys, he's falling behind a little bit. Let's see what he can do towards the end of the race though. Because going slightly deep into the hairpin, and Klopp I think has quite a bit better straight line speed compared to Ragusa. I could be wrong.
Yeah, those twisters are fast this year, this is really incredible.
I think Rens Klopp has got good top speed. I'll have a look at it down the straight here, see how much he catches him. So exit of spoon, Klopp getting nicely on the power. Here is a very good example. Klopp obviously picking up the slipstream, goes up to gear 7 right now. It's about 300 and what's going to be 310? Yeah, 310 going into 130R.
Yeah, he has a way better top speed than Ragusa indeed. DRS is not available, but there's only one DRS zone across start finish. That's really good. Hopefully we will see a similar situation as we have seen in 2003 with Fisichella and Kimi Räikkönen on the last lap of the race. That was really something obnoxious. But right here, it's even without DRS, Ragusa edging out 310. Rens Klopp going into turn 1 with 315, but getting there as well, it's a continuously advantage as well. So Rens Klopp looking really promising. Martin Hodas behind that is just holding on to his distance. He doesn't want to get involved basically into the dirty air. He just lets these drivers do what they want to do. Hopefully for him he can conserve his pace at the moment. Paschalis Gergis isn't able to keep up with the 3 leading drivers. He has to well, hang on a little bit on a silk thread. Ruud Heesbeek, Anchowski, Masciuli, D'Alessandro, Fernandez and Hoyer are all driving in the pack. And like I've said on the early, like I said 10 minutes ago, I wouldn't be surprised if Michi Hoyer would DNF or be top 10 after lap 1. Fortunately for him, he didn't DNF, he's actually driving in 10th place now. So a really fabulous job from him. Not getting into that carnage that Marek Godek caused once again. Godek, you idiot, why do you do this all the time? But sure, it wasn't intentional, but getting quite obvious though.
He's on the prime tire as well as Michi Hoyer, so he's got an advantage for sure. Yeah. He's the first guy on the prime tire as well, in 10th place, and is able to stick with Fernandez at the moment. So good job from him. Yeah, and if he can, sorry to a little bit of undercut you, but if he can conserve them, it will become the better tire definitely. Also with the high fuel loads here, I think after 4 or 5 laps, you know, he might have the edge on tire wear. I'm not saying that the medium compound is slower, but you know, in a long stint, you know, the tire definitely comes to warp you if it's a little bit harder, and the degradation just goes further and further onto the medium. Yeah, prime tire tends to get quicker and quicker up to like a certain point after 8 laps or so, where it starts to drop off a little bit, while the medium just degrades from lap 2 onwards already or something like that.
Yeah, talking about degradation, I mean, this is a really highly demanding tire wear circuit here. And, you know, it's especially the S's, and it's the people who can conserve their tires as well that are making waves, so to speak. At the moment though, it's still the front of the pack being unchanged, and I wouldn't say I'm surprised at Ragusa for not driving away into clean air. I think it's better placed that when I say that Rens Klopp is doing everything he can in order to stay with Ragusa. I think that's a phenomenal achievement at the moment, but he has to be careful that he's not going to overdrive himself. You know, because if you make an early pit stop here and you are getting back into the pack, you know, it might be troubling.
I'm rather happy to say as well that we see the top 3 in one picture after 3 laps or so. I mean, we haven't really seen that, and it seems like it could turn out to be a very good battle as well, with Hodes sticking in there as well quite nicely. I'm gonna have a look at his top speed actually from Hodes and see what he can do, as Rens Klopp has a little look, and Hodes hits 327 down the straight.
Wow.
And I think that
Holy.
Klopp revs out at 320. I think Klopp is at 320, he revs out at that. But Hodes going all the way up to 327. Indeed, Klopp revs out at 320.
Yeah, and I think Martin Hodes is going to act like a silent wolf here in sheep's clothes. And he's just there along for the ride, and he's hoping for these guys to battle and make life hard for each other. He's driving really conserved, and I don't think Hodes is giving it everything he has. He's just, you know, in his own element, trying to not lose these guys. But it does seem that Ragusa and Rens are giving it everything they have. Of course, driving a little bit conservatively through some corners, but you know, compared to Martin is just cruising, it seems.
Klopp getting a little bit closer to Ragusa, not close enough most likely though. He'll pick up another nice tow heading down to 130R. Seems like the whole time the gap is just about 6, 5, 10, something like that. Maybe even a little bit less right now. But the DRS zone is, it's not the longest ever. It's definitely not the shortest. But as I said, also definitely not the longest one ever. Klopp needs to get a little bit closer if he can, close it up slightly on the braking for the chicane. But Ragusa once again nails it nicely. Can he get a good exit? Yes, Ragusa can get a good exit. Runs away from Klopp by a couple of meters or so, but that's really it. Oh, they're still sticking behind this as well, of course. 4/10 is the gap as they cross the line. Klopp having a look on the inside, more or less just scare Ragusa off, because Ragusa knows that Klopp is not going for a dive or anything like that over there. It's not even possible with the amount of speed you carry into the first corner.
Yeah, and Paschalis Gerges is starting to lose Hodes and the rest of the factor there in front out of sight. But if he loses... oh, I hear crashes. What are those?
Shatsi Pantelis, I believe.
Yeah, Shatsi Pantelis is off. He is off into turn 1. And he's going back on track. Alessio Campos has to take avoiding action. It's again a stupid go speed. Jeroen, Kweekel. What the hell? No, I'm just joking, go speed.
Kweekel Racing School at Go Speed.
Quaking Racing School, there we go. It was you who put him up to that. No, but that was really unfortunate for Shatsi Pantelis. But yeah, going back to the other drivers again. What I wanted to say, that there's a big fact if Paschalis Gerges looks into his rear view mirrors of still the same names that I said 10 minutes ago. But it seems like Roberto Fernandez and Michi Hoyer are joining them as well. But they all get DRS. So the only driver who isn't getting DRS is Gerges. It's a nice Trudy train, but Gerges is a little bit of a better driver than Trudy is.
Ooh, I see Mashuli going for the inside there. Mashuli having a look on Antohovsky. Was alongside entering the chicane, but in the end Antohovsky pulled along the rope pretty much. Once again having a look. Yep.
Really knocking at the door at the moment. And he's showing that he's fighting for a win here. I mean, it's really interesting to see that he's not really losing a lot of time through the S's, whilst he does have a better top speed. So you would assume that Ragusa with a lesser top speed has a little bit more downforce. It's clearly not the case if we look at it. Or Ragusa is just, you know, really driving slowly for his sake. But it's looking like he's pushing quite extensively. But you know, looks won't say anything. We just have to wait for the first pit light to go on, basically.
I think Klopp is a little bit better towards the end of the stint here. Maybe he has a bit of a more stable setup. I noticed myself while practicing that you can have a very pointy setup for the beginning couple of laps, but after that, like when your tires are about 10 laps old, you really start to struggle, especially the S's with the rear end. Maybe that's what's going on with Ragusa. And I think Klopp is getting just closer and closer. And once again, Klopp just gets a little bit closer to the apex than Ragusa does. And Klopp is on fire at the moment. Definitely putting control on it.
Definitely contesting Ragusa here for the first position in the race. And now he has to just stick close and stay close and trying to get his braking point correct. He can brake a little bit later than Ragusa and hopefully carry a little bit more momentum onto the straight. Definitely trying to do so, and he's going full blown here. And he will definitely make a move here. Ragusa has to go defensive onto the outside. Can Rens Klopp do a Max Verstappen on the also on the outside? Ragusa covers the inside, but Rens is alongside. They give each other just enough room to survive another day and to fight another day, but brilliant driving from the both of them. And it's definitely Ragusa being on the edge there, and the edge that he had to give to Rens. So really nice driving. And you see, when both of these drivers drive, they have faith in each other that they get that amount of space. Otherwise Rens wouldn't do what he just did. That's nice to see.
Mashuli passed Antonovsky again, so those two have been battling throughout the stint as well. Quite a big battle over there going on. Alessandro sticking behind that in 8th place, and Hoyer still in 10th as well. Keeping up quite nicely behind Fernandez. He's still behind him though, that's the thing. But once again, he is on that prime tire.
Yeah, he dived him by the way again, like he did last lap.
Yeah.
Mashuli dived him into the chicane there, last chicane. Nice job from him.
I think his Klopp is going to get another opportunity here. If he gets a good run out of the final chicane, he may do it. Picks up a little bit of slipstream through 130R. Obviously it's still flat. Having a look maybe in the inside of the chicane over here, he does so, but it's too far back. And look at Hodes as well. You said it, Chris, being the wolf in the sleep close.
Your crashes? It crashes? I definitely heard contact there, did you?
No, I didn't. Chassis Pantelis has retired though, so maybe that's it. I don't see any kind of positional change or anything like that. Then a look, yeah, it was Chassis Pantelis. Chassis Pantelis went off in the first corner. Same place as previous time.
Alright. So the order of the leaders and the first places are unchanged.
Oh, Prieto off as well.
Yeah, I thought I heard something, but don't want to scream random things. But Prieto is seemingly to have an issue with his car because he's twitching the steering wheel so much. It's insane and far from healthy. But Rens are really close up to the gearbox of Ragusa here. And if he can get a nice speed, he might be able to get a move in after 130R. And he knows it, he's going for it.
How about in 30R?
Yeah, that would be insane. Come on,
yeah,
Rens,
definitely.
do it.
He's rather close. Ragusa runs wide as well once again on the exit there.
Yeah, he's able to. He can park his car alongside him now. Has to wait here though. Has to stick with him. Ragusa's going on to the inside. The Rens on the outside, and Ragusa is. Ooh, that's a little bit cheeky from Ragusa, but closing the door firmly, I can say. Not a little bit cheeky, I can say, but also, you know, on the maximum. Ragusa going early defensive now. It's starting to weave to the left. He cannot go to the right. He is going to the right, Senna style. And he has to allow Rens room on the outside, and he is seen, and Rens is going off. Drifting alongside the corner, and Hodas is barely escaping with his front wing intact. But I think this is exactly where Hodas was looking for it in the end. Ragusa not able to keep the car straight. And there's a Netrix car off. And it's not Chris de Jong. It's Roberto Fernandez. Together with Hoyer? Together with Hoyer. Ooh, Fernandez just got hit in the back by Hoyer. And both lose their wing. I think we see it in the replay now. Really obnoxious incident there by the both of them.
Suddenly all kicked off. Ragusa spun in the process as well, and it's on his own pretty much. Probably got distracted by Rens, of course. And so we have a top 2 battle right now, and Georges knocks on the door of Ragusa. What can Hodas do now though? Can he stick with Klopp? That's also the question. And a remarkable maneuver that's for sure. There's another crash though.
Ragusa has his pit light on.
Yeah, Gobby is indeed off. Second Dagner. Oh, I can't get back on track. Spins in the gravel.
So
it all kicked off.
A lot of pit stops are coming our way. But who will make the definite call? Ragusa has his light on. Will he go in as well? No, he won't. He will stay out 1 lap longer, it seems. But now he comes on the threat by Pascalis Gergis. Ragusa is going defensive now. He shouldn't weave like he did last time. He's getting past even before turn 1. He is seeing Pascalis Gergis moves himself into P3.
Good move from Georges, although, as you said, was already done even before the corner. Ace the Bake next up to line up Ragusa for a pass potentially. And Antohovsky has lost out a little bit on this route, probably can rejoin though with all this battling going on. And who is going to make the first score in terms of pit stops? Lap 9 or 10 of the race. And I think Hoyer went in. Hoyer indeed went in. Okay, that's of course...
lost his front wing.
Yeah, that's of course a logical
Together with
move.
Yeah, those are basically done, unfortunately. But yeah, Hodas now having definitely has the best tire life. I mean, Ragusa and Klopp. I mean, that fight and that drift through turn 1. I'm surprised they managed to keep it well together. You know, I mean, it looked like carnage the first second.
Exactly. I didn't even expect Rens Klopp to be leading after it, to be honest. Quite remarkable. Somehow it worked out, I guess. And Hodas. Klopp is somewhat pulling a gap, let's face it. And let's have a look what the split is after the second sector here. It's 9/10 of a second, almost a second though. And if Klopp can get outside of the DRS zone, that will give him a little bit more of a comforting gap to Hodas.
Hodas has his pit light on. Hodas is going in, so he's the first guy to go into the pit. And I think that's a smart decision. He definitely practiced his pit stop maneuver because he's full of confidence into the pit. But I have to say, and come back to Ragusa, that Ragusa was a little bit weaving onto the track. And you know, Klopp had the outside line, but he was well in front. You know, regulations say that you're alongside, even if the point of your front wing is alongside, you know, the smallest particle of the rear tires. But, you know, he should have just stayed on the inside line, but unfortunately they made contact. But fortunately as well, I mean they're both still driving, but heavily compromising their tire life for sure, and maybe even some damage. Martin Hodas is now back on track with fresh medium tires, so that's the option compound, the fastest compound we use, and hopefully he can get an easy pass done on Team Valkyrie.
He's trying, of course, to go for the undercut on Rens Klopp. Probably Rens Klopp is going to respond this lap. Having a look at it, his pit light is indeed on, so most likely he will respond. The gap was about 1 second. Ooh, Klopp getting a bit twitchy on the exit of Spoon. I saw it there. But
sorry, Michele Di Alessandro in P11 already made his pit stop. He's on the hard compound tire. He's going on to Mr. Horrell, I believe it's Ben Horrell, and he seemed really close, but he's really knocking at the door. I mean, Horrell here is almost stationary. Alessandro should park alongside, and Horrell knows it, but it's just top speed that isn't working out. Now, like, here he's holding back again. But he should be going for it now. No, onto the inside. Horrell just leaves him, and Alessandro moves himself up to P10. But I'm sure he wanted to have a faster move through. Martin Hodas relieved himself from Timo Valkyrie, and Ragusa is now stationary into the pit, and he's coming out of his pit box right now. So Martin Hodas just made an epic strike on track position here, and going into turn 1, Giuseppe Ragusa parks his car right in between Prieto and Antovsky, and that just went barely right. So driving on the limit for Ragusa. Can't really afford himself more cheekiness on the track, no more weaving and whatsoever, but this was just right on the edge. So nice job.
Nice to see the Walt now in 5th place at the moment. Klopp fed out behind him when he made his pit stop. Allows Martin Hodas to close up a little bit on Rens Klopp. Maybe this is the opportunity for Hodas as the Walt goes very, very wiggly on the exit of the hairpin. Rens Klopp should have him here. Question mark, exclamation mark. As Rens Klopp once again goes in the slipstream, and can the Walt defend this?
Woohoo.
He's going for it. Oh, and he spins off actually!
They make contact. The Walt now a little bit too opportunistic there, losing the car. And in a corner where Rens just basically dived into the gap that was present. The Walt now defending the outside, but catching onto the curve. Martin Hodas now on Rens Klopp has to literally lift off the throttle, otherwise he would ram him into 130R. He's going for the dive bomb, and they almost make contact. They leave each other just enough space, but Martin Hodas wouldn't say force Rens off track there, but Rens tried to hold onto the outside, but that was always a gap to disappear, and Rens is seen for now. Hodas still got DRS. onto the straight. So really nice driving onto the limit from both of them. The Wild Nell now has a fight with Timo Valkejärvi and Michele Di Alessandro there behind the Wild Nell again. Kyrgyz just went onto the hard compound tires, just went out of the pits. He finds himself into P9. That's a little bit disappointing for him, purely because he has a lot of guys in front of him who yet have to make their first pit stop. Like the Wild Nell and I believe Valkejärvi. The Wild Nell holding up the Alessandro now dangerously, and there is, who is that? It's Valkejärvi going back off the track in the same space where Bonnehuizen went off, and he decides it's an end of his race. So Valkejärvi a DNF right there, unfortunately for him. Just lost the car on the entry there. Looks like the suspension broke, but you know that's not the case. At least he's not going back on track without a rear wing. He decides to call it quits. Ruud Heesterbeek now leading this race. Who would have thought? He's
Comes
going
into the pit lane. Yeah, definitely. Heesterbeek coming into the pit lane.
Together with Masudi. Francesconi now going to lead the race. No, he's not going to into the pit. So Francesconi starting this race from P10, leading the race now in lap, what is it, lap 15, start of lap 15. Not for long though, he still has to make a pit stop as well. Hoda's effectively leading this one, and without that top speed advantage, I think it becomes really hard for Rens Klopp to make a move in. I mean, he can do it maybe with DRS and a good toe, but he has to catch him first. And Hoda's with just, you know, pure control of this race, he's starting to push now, and he seems to be unchained after waiting patiently the first 10 laps of this race. Then the sort of incident happened with Ragusa and Klopp, pit stops happened, and Martin Hoda seems to be out in front. And I'm sure he's dropping Francesconi like a bag of salt through the next corner. And what are you going to do if you're Francesconi? You know that the guy behind you is much faster, has much fresher tires, if he's going to dive in your scene. And is he going to do it before Spoon? It would be nice, but he is not risking that fact. It would be a little bit reckless for Martin as well. And it does allow Rens to catch up a little bit. But here goes Hodas, and I don't think that Francesconi is going into the pit, but if not, then it would be a little bit problematic for Rens Klopp being stuck the first sector behind him. So Francesconi going into the pit now, I have no doubt. Here he goes. That releases Hodas and that releases Rens. And here goes Rens though. Hodas still has DRS. That's the disadvantage for Rens, because this was a nice opportunity, but now his ref limiter just goes out, and Rens from the outside. Holy moly, what are we seeing here? Hodas trying to defend and doing so successfully, but that's not something Hodas expected, and I didn't expect for sure. How can Rens break that late? So impressive driving from the young Dutch guy.
I've got not a lot of words for that. It was beautiful around the outside. Maybe made a bit of contact with Hodas, but hey, that's okay.
No, that's forgiven. I don't care.
Exactly.
That was beautiful.
Exactly, a beautiful move. Unfortunately, couldn't make it stick though, as we have a car off the track. P9, Antohovsky. Oh, and a big accident between Francesconi and Antohovsky. Holy shit!
Oh my god. Antohovsky just going off the track and then trying to turn around onto the track. Ladies and gentlemen, the retard of today, Michael Antohovsky, sorry to say here, but he takes the retard award today. I mean, that is just hilarious driving, and I hope he gets a race plan. And having that said, I don't regret what I've just said. I mean, that is just insanely, just doing a donut on that place and time on the track. I mean, it's insane. I should stop talking.
He started.
I can rage.
He started to quit on, or spin, I should say, on his own. Then started indeed to return the track up the hill.
Yeah. And he saw that he was coming there. I mean, everyone could see. Holy moly, holy moly. That's rejoining the track in fashion, And I'm sure hoping he learns from this, but this is definitely not the behavior we want to encourage on Formula Sim racing. Definitely not something we have seen in ACE this year, I believe. Only in Pro with Valeriano, but insane accident and insane process of thoughts as well. I mean, hopefully we won't lose any more drivers because we have 15 left. There are 5 DNFs, and but this one was really unfortunate. When there's driving, Francesconi is still driving without a front wing. He is going back to the pit to remount that, and unfortunately for him, and behind him it's Michi Hoyer as well. Now Hoyer has to watch out because he doesn't know that Francesconi is damaged. But what an action here. So no action on the track for Hodas and Klopp though. Those two are having their own battle. But it does instantly mean that at the moment Michele D'Alessandro is driving in P3. Twister Racing doing a fantastic job here, being second and third for the time being. And Michele started P9, I believe. He drives along in P3. Already made his pit stop onto the hard compound, so he can go back on soft for the remainder of this race.
And Michele
He's
is
getting
battling
underthread by the go speed of Ruud Heesterbeek. Michele onto the inside, has to make room on the outside, and that is where Ruud Heesterbeek finds the gap that he was been looking for. Brilliant driving from Ruud Heesterbeek here.
Also around the outside, very impressive. And also good driving from Michele. It's very easy to be on the inside there and just run a bit too deep and make contact with your opponent, but that's not what he did. And a fantastic move and a good respect between the two drivers. Always good to see, of course.
Yeah, well said. And instantly Heesterbeek is letting no grass grow over it. I mean, he's gone with the wind. In fact, half a second already the gap between him and D'Alessandro. But of course he's on the medium compound tires. And you know, Alessandro still has those conserved for later on in the race. And back then Heesterbeek has to go on those hard compound tires. But it's not really a punishment. They degrade a lot less and they overheat a lot less. You know, it's a conserving tire, but it might be the reason why Michele wasn't able to defend that with with 100%. So over a second now the margin between Rens Klopp and Martin Hodas, so that means no DRS for the young Dutch guy, and Martin Hodas is gone for the moment. A lot of time still remaining in this race. We haven't even been halfway, and a lot of things can go wrong here still. I mean, like I said, last year Bono House crashed into the lead of this race with 12 or 18 seconds into the lead. Anything can happen in Suzuka. I mean, yeah, we just have to wait and find out. But hopefully nobody will take another retard award like Antosovsky did just yet. I mean, he also finished the race. I believe it was from Roberto Fernandez. He crashed on track. I mean, ending someone's race like that's really the main part, you know.
I'll tell you what though, we've got another retirement. 14 drivers left in this race. Francesconi went off in Spoon. Also decided to make an end to it.
He obviously had the damaged car earlier on.
True,
without front so.
Yeah.
Unfortunate afternoon for him. After even leading the race for half a lap.
What I would like to point out is that Klopp obviously is on the prime tire at the moment. And despite him being on the prime tire, in my opinion, he does quite a nice job at sticking with Hodas. The gap the whole time is about a second or so. It's a little bit more than that right now, it's about 1-1. But Hodas is not just, you know, disappearing on the horizon. Klopp is able to stick somewhat with him, despite Klopp being on the slower tire at the moment.
Yes, well said. And also someone who doesn't have that problem is Eros Masudi, who's getting dived by Ragusa. Ragusa just dive bombing in there. Masudi has to make way, and Ragusa makes up another place. Almost forgotten the pole position sitter here, and he has to defend now for Masudi as well. But he has DRS to cover off Masudi. But it seems Masudi has better top speed, just can't get to him. But brilliant driving from Ragusa, I should say, just making that dive bomb work. And almost made contact with Gerges as well, but you know, excellent driving from Ragusa. That's really what we like to see here. Klopp now still 1.1 behind Hodas. The gap didn't increase after sector 1. And Rens with a little bit of fresh air now can relax as well through those S's and doesn't have to use extra steering input to compensate for the dirty air being and therefore the downforce being taken away and sucked out of his air. He just has to, you know, remain relatively close, and if he can maintain the gap under like 2.5 or 3 seconds until the next set of pit stops, where obviously Hodas is going on to the hard compound tire and Rens can go to the mediums, then, you know, he can slowly but steadily, lap by lap, just close that gap and try to get a move in. It's gonna get a rough time though. I mean, Hodas is seemingly to be on point here, and he seems to at the moment be the fastest guy on track, not only because he's driving in P1, but he just seems so controlled in this race.
Heestabek at the moment isn't doing bad either. Currently about 2 to 3 tenths quicker than the Hodas per lap. Heestabek is on the medium tire, however, but it's nice to see the guy in P3, in this case of course Heestabek, closing that gap down a little bit. I'll doubt whether it's
sorry
enough.
to interrupt you, but if we can go on board with Ragusa, who's really pushing a lot right now. He almost went off into turn 1 here, and Mashoudi wasn't able to capitalize on it just yet. And instantly, Ragusa, after losing out that much, instantly drives away from Eros once again. And he is just so up to point here. Really unfortunate that he had that incident earlier on, but you know, it only cost him 2 seconds or whatever. I mean, this is purely strategy and being stuck behind other drivers. That's the cause of him being P6 and 13, almost 14 seconds behind Hodas now. But Ragusa definitely going to try to overtake Gergis. I mean, the gap isn't just there at the moment, but trust me, after this next straight and 130R, he will get DRS and he will try to make an attempt in. He's definitely gonna go for it, but Eros Mashoudi behind him, he really has better top speed than Ragusa and Gergis. So, you know, basically it's a two-man race here. Maybe it's Eros who tries to overtake Ragusa, who will know. Here we go. Nice and tidy exit from Ragusa though, but not really enough for a move in. Maybe I was too enthusiastic there, but he is driving towards him though on the straight. He just needs more room on the track, but obviously that's not gonna happen. Gergis holding on to his line, and he should be. So Rens Klopp now 0.9 seconds behind Hodas only. And maybe this is what you talked earlier, like 8 or 9 laps into the hard compound tire, Jeroen. The tire might be a little bit more in your own favor than the medium compound, since the degradation is just so slower. And but it also means that Rens Klopp has to, you know, run a little bit longer than Hodas in order to, you know, make really use of it.
True, very true. And he needs to close up again, obviously, when he is on the medium tire. So this is a battle which is not done. Let's put it like that. That's for sure. There's a lot of time left in this race, and if I don't see these, I don't see these two making a mistake. And if they indeed don't do that, then this fight could go on towards the end of the race as well, which would be really nice, of course. And Heestabek is gaining quite a lot of time in the background as well. I should mention him as well. I feel like he's about 6 tenths per lap now quicker than Heestabek. At least he was last time round. This time round it was 5 tenths, so another half a second gained for Heestabek, and that is really nice to see as well, to be honest. 4.9 seconds is the gap at the moment. Let's keep an eye out on that.
Indeed as well, and well, for the lead of the race, it's everything but settled, and that's really nice to say. And what it would mean for Heestabek to join these guys, but he still has a lot of time to make up for it though. 4 seconds he's behind Klopp, and you know, but he's definitely showing that he has the pace and he has the raw speed. He just needs the momentum, and he still has 21 laps in order to make it work. And work. That's 2 tenths a lap he has to average. So Rens staying ever so close to Martin Hodas, and well, still the top speed issue might be problematic, since Hodas is just edging out 7 kph more than Rens Klopp. Rens Klopp 320, Hodas 327 on his third. But it's good that he can keep the gap well under control. He isn't really influenced by the dirty air into sector 1, and if Hodas makes a mistake, he's done for anyway. So the only thing that Rens has to do now is remain control on this pace and just, you know, let the race develop from here. He will obviously be in clean air in a few laps time when Hodas makes his pit stop. But you know, maybe Hodas goes on for another 4 laps and then just, you know, goes to the finish. And that would mean that Rens has to go a little bit longer, like 3-4 laps, in order to you know, make the finish as well with tires that aren't really burned down to the canvas. Because if he pits now, he has 20 laps to go, and that's a well, mere impossibility on the medium compound tires, right? So.
Also, don't forget the battle for P5 with Ragusa, Georges, and Masciuli. Was still pretty close.
How can we forget Kyrgyz?
Exactly. But the Masciuli
guy next to Jim Paresis.
Masciuli really having the top speed advantage here the whole time. He loses out though because of that in the S's. Ragusa has a lot of downforce on that car, and that hampers his ability, or yeah, he cannot really get hold of the opportunity to pass Georges. He has DRS obviously, but that's really it. While Masciuli has been multiple times quite close on the back of Ragusa, last lap he was as well. Let's see what he can do this time. Masciuli a little bit further back than he was actually previous time. At this stage, and Ragusa goes off the track though. Masciuli says thank you very much, goes on the inside of Spoon, and Ragusa, oh, they're still side by side. And Ragusa goes on the grass, in fact, picks up the slipstream now from Eros Masciuli, but Masciuli having that straight line speed I talked about.
Trust me, he's going to die for Masciuli. The respect was just not neutral there. Masciuli was like, you head onto the brake, mate. You know, I'm gonna stay onto my line. I'm gonna push you onto the track because of the earlier dive bombs from Ragusa to Masciuli. But nice hardcore driving from these guys, really. They're striding every inch of the way, and that's what we like to see. And that's what we want to see without it ending in tears. So these drivers are still, you know, 90-95% on their limit when they make moves like that. Still have that little bit of room left in their brain to calculate the risks and whatsoever. But yeah, what's to be expected for? We're not driving a public server here, aren't we? So, you know,
in that case,
can expect a little bit of quality from our ace drivers.
Like
Except that Chris the Young guy, he crashes every race.
Wow, yeah, he always causes so much carnage and stuff. Yeah. It's unbelievable. He should get a season ban or something, I think. Oh, there's someone off. Fabrizio Gobbi? Yes, Gobbi once again in the first corner.
Just having a go. The weekend for him is just going from bad to horrible to worst weekend ever. I mean, that's a little bit of exaggeration for me, but you know, after Q1 he was safely through to Q2, and he then heard that his A location was too late, so he had to start from the pit lane. And now he has some incidents, and you know, even I believe driving without a front wing or going off the track, he's going off track again. And Hodas is in the pit.
He's indeed in the pit lane. From the lead of the race, obviously, will most likely go to the prime tire. He does so indeed. And as Klopp takes the lead, then where is Hodas going to feed out of? That's the question. It is behind Georges and Masciuli, because Ragusa himself went into the pit lane as well. That releases Rens Klopp, and Heesterbeek is now 2 seconds behind Klopp. What's Heesterbeek going to do? Is he also going to go to the prime tire? That's the question.
Yeah, he's going really fast.
Yeah, he is indeed. He's definitely the fastest guy on track at the moment. We'll see what the Rens Klopp can do though in the clean air. But remember that Klopp is on the prime tire. 18 laps for Hodas on the prime tire in his final stint.
But it does mean that Rens Klopp can push now. I mean, Hodas has to take it easy now. He has to make these tires last another 18 laps, like we just said, even until the end of this race. So he cannot afford himself another big lockup, because then he's a goner. You know, he has to stay well preserved. Rens can now afford to push these next 3-4 laps, then go into the pit and having 13, 14 laps remaining on medium compound tires and a pretty emptied out gas tank. So not gonna underestimate Ruud Heesterbeek, because if he still has some tire life remaining in his tires, he can use this time to push as well. I mean, 2 seconds now the difference between Klopp and him. 5 laps ago that gap was still 4.5. So, you know, he's making himself look really important as well. And I hope in the end of this race that Ruud is gonna contest for a podium. I mean, to see him drive like this, he absolutely deserves it, and nothing less.
I absolutely agree with you on that point. Surely on the back of George's, nothing too fancy over there. Victor Ivanov, though, we haven't really talked about him. Finds himself in P8 at the moment. Behind Prieto, who goes defensive for the first corner. Victor Ivanov is going to have to do it round the outside, but decides to back out of it. Prieto keeps that position, but another battle going on for P7. But what would it be nice if we saw a three-way battle for the lead here still after all those laps. It does look like it will be a two-way battle at the moment, but who knows? Let's see what the Heesterbeek can do, as you have already explained. Currently the gap is 2.1 seconds between Heesterbeek and Klopp. Heesterbeek not pitting yet, hasn't got his pit light on yet at the moment. I doubt we'll see him in the pit lane this lap unless he decides to
action is unfolding. Ragusa on Ivanov. If we can go on board with Ragusa. He is going for it! He's completely going for it! Bye bye Ragusa! There goes your nice smile on Facebook now, but you're in the sand. And that's gonna cost you a lot of time, like 6-7 seconds. Way too optimistic driving for Ragusa. I should say +1 for driving, or for trying, but that was really over optimism there.
Yeah, never could have made a corner.
Not making that quarter by 4 or 5 meters, you know, that's just too much.
Surely though, once again, on the back of George's. What can he do with the higher top speed? Hodes is in the battle as well. Paschalis Georges goes defensive. Surely's gonna have to do it around the outside, but can do it. And look at Hodes! Hodes being the one clever here. Definitely a good move from Hodes in my opinion. On the prime tire, obviously fresh tire, whatever. But did it there where it mattered when Masciuli left the door open, and he went for it. I can tell you that Masciuli was quite surprised, I think, when he saw suddenly Hodes on his inside. Masciuli being a bit, his head on the attack. Didn't bother about thinking about defending, and why would he be? It's the first corner after all. But a good move from Hodes.
He has to be sure that he's not overdriving his tires now. He's not gonna get past this sector by Gurgis, but you know, Gurgis is entitled to the racing line here, and he will not make this easy for Hodes. That's for sure. If Hodes is gonna pull off another move like that, it's gonna be troubling. So Rens is having his pit light on, and it's 14.5 seconds between him and Hodes. So hopefully it's enough, but Hodes will, I think, be definitely in the lead. And maybe Rens lost out like 3 seconds, but it's the tire advantage he has that he should take right now.
When Georges and Hodes are making contact in the final chicane here, Hodes in the end got past, and immediately Georges and Masciuli decide to get into the pit lane. But not a lot of space was given. Rens Klopp on the left hand side though, exiting the pit lane. Hodes down the main straight and no issues there whatsoever. Heesterbeek stayed out in the meantime. He is still driving in first place and decided to stay out. Obviously the longer he will be staying out, the more time he's going to lose. You see more drivers exiting the pit lane. Alessandro in 4th, and also Georges and Masciuli then exiting. They were joined in P7 and 8.
No, but more importantly for Rens Klopp, I mean, this is really doable. He is only like 1.5 seconds behind Hodes, and Hodes is obviously on the prime tires, on the hard compound tire, and Rens on the medium. But you know, Hodes already had done 3 laps on those. So fresh mediums for Rens, and this is the time where he has to put the hammer down, the young Dutch guy. This is the time where he should fly. And it's the early stages of his stint where he should go and make his move. You know, because otherwise the tire will degrade maybe a little bit too hard. Because, you know, Martin Hodes cannot afford anything as well. He has to do in a total of 18 laps on these tires. He just managed to do 3 of them. So, you know, he cannot battle as much. Rens just has to keep the pressure on the cattle and just do what he can do best, and that's driving onto the limit. Ruud Heesterbeek into the pit right now. No doubt he will drop back to P3, but that's not a shame. And there is still plenty of time for Ruud to get underway and, you know, maybe surprise us.
Obviously he has to do his prime stint though, so he's gonna go to the prime tire, exit it right now. Let's have a look what he can do.
But he can relatively push hard with these tires. He has 14
definitely,
laps.
definitely.
So nice job.
Look at Jurges though on the back of Eros Marshuli down the main straight. I think Marshuli managed to get past Jurges somewhere this lap. Jurges trying to slip through, and look at this. Marshuli with an amazing straight line speed. I'm gonna check whether the DRS was open for Marshuli there. Answer is yes. Okay, so Marshuli did get DRS. That is why Paschalis couldn't get past there. That's a battle which may unfold later in this race as well. Alessandro in 4th, that seems to be quite safe. And Klopp definitely attacking Hodes, that is a given. How much time will it take him though? And can he get past? It's question 1. And if he can get past,
yeah,
you know, with how much of a fight is it going to be? I presume Hodes is just gonna try to fight with everything he's got. It's for the lead of the race, so why not? Do it.
Yeah, he is going for it though. I mean, Hodes really has to check his rear view mirror a couple of times, at least 2, even for the approach to this chicane. I mean, Klopp is not really gaining that much through here, and the gap is just not present for him to make a dive work. But the pressure is definitely on, and Hodes feels it, and hopefully for him he will not be influenced by it. Maybe here's a way for him to go past. He does have the DRS, he doesn't have the longer gear ratio, but the way towards it. Hodes is not going defensive, but really late on the outside. Rens Klopp is going to take the outside line. And oh, people, they are on alongside. Hodes isn't making way. And brilliant driving from the both of them on the limit. And I heard some contact indeed. But holy moly, these drivers are, you know, really wanting this win. Oh, and there's Guillermo Prieto going off the track. And that's the crash I heard earlier. He was driving without a front wing. He is currently DNF. So there we go. He spun off during the 130R.
Did he realize he was driving without a front wing? He went flat out in 130R. I don't think he realized he didn't have a front wing.
Wow.
You're wrong.
Typical ghost speed. Huh?
well, I think Heesterbeek was using my setup. No, I don't know.
Yeah, right. Okay, so what kind of a top speed do you have?
No, I don't even know.
330 tops?
No,
but Rens is really looking closer. Well, I wouldn't say as ever. It was quite close last time around. Hopefully they can give each other just 5 centimeters more space into turn 1. Rens putting the pressure on his on Hodes' rear again. No homo, by the way. That sounded a little bit whatever. Rens is really going for it, and Hodes, well, it really has to defend now. It's way closer than it was earlier on. Rens on the inside again, takes the front line, has to take the outside line though, and he cuts Hodes off a little bit. They make contact, and Hodes is getting putting his life on the line basically in order to keep P1. But I do have to say that was a little bit over the limit in for Martin. I mean, Rens was alongside. He didn't give a lot of space as well.
Klopp feels like that as well,
incident, I should say, because Rens was squeezing a little bit as well. I mean, and that's logical as well. I mean, if you're too far on the outside when you turn in, you instantly notice, okay, I'm going off, you know. And if you are too much on the outside, you just instantly spin off. But let's just say 50-50 for the both of them. It's nice to see such a hard battle for the lead of this race, and Rens really looking to be the faster guy now, and really the more controlled guy, where Hodes had the control in the early stages of this race.
And Klopp was weaving down the straight, definitely showing his anger. But that's not gonna do anything, is it? He has to try it once again if he can. Picks up the slipstream once again, of course, on Hodes as well. But these guys are putting their life on the line, especially Hodes, in terms of defending. In the background, Heesterbeek still is coming up. Don't forget him. Gap is about 3 seconds at the moment. Heesterbeek definitely being the one who is quicker. But that is no surprise with the given how much these guys are battling. Once again, Rens Klopp being rather close here. He's
Round 3, fight!
Yeah, definitely. He's gonna have a really good chance at it though. He's already in the slipstream over here, already alongside over here. This is maybe the best chance Renslop's going to get, trying to squeeze those guys off. And Renslop this time does it round the outside. Hodas tries to do a comeback, but that is, well, yeah, he has to give up there. That is for sure.
3 keer safe, 3 times it's sailor right, what we say in Holland. I mean, Renslop making being the opportunist of the day, basically. Really controlled driving here from Rens, and driving like a champion, basically. Nothing Martin Hodas could do as well. There was some good aggression from him there, but he just had to let Rens go on that occasion.
And Renslop straight away flies off. And what else do you expect?
At the beginning of his stint, he was 4 seconds down on Rens, who was driving in P2 basically. He's now just well, within 2 seconds, 1.9 seconds behind Hodas. So that might be interesting as well, since Heestebeek has the fresher tires, 4 laps younger than Martin Hodas, same compound though. So hopefully he can push a little bit more. But Hodas isn't done yet, of course. He has the high top speed. If he can remain into DRS range, maybe he can close the gap well, severely enough to not lose sight of Rens. Because if Rens gets a gap of 3 or 4 seconds now, it's like the superiority of Sebastian Vettel. He's just gone. Definitely a driver who loves clean air, and well, he has every chance to do so now. But you know, you can see the gap obviously and observably shrinking there, but it's keeping it till next lap, because we know Hodas has the better top speed, but he is now in the chaser seat, and with the fresher tires from Rens, he just has to make sure those tires won't degrade as hard. So he has, well, relatively fresh tires for the remainder of this race, which is 9.5 laps long. And what we saw like last week in the Pro Series, where, you know, on the last lap the pecking order changed once more when Jacques Wengler ran out of fuel. Don't hope we are going to see that this time around, but you know, you never know. Racing is sometimes full of surprises. Like Maldonado still driving.
That's a big surprise, to be honest. Yeah.
Well, money.
Yep, definitely. Surely on the back of Ragusa. Battle for P5.
And those two have still got something to settle, I think.
Yep,
there's a little bit of I wouldn't say neutral behavior between the two, more like a little bit of hostile behavior. Eros here really looking up for a overtaking maneuver here, placed at Ragusa. Ragusa, who has shown earlier weaving in the race. And let's see how he does now. He goes defensive early on. He goes back onto the racing line now. And he just has to pray that Eros is not going to dive inside. Indeed, he isn't. Otherwise, he basically couldn't make a move in. He couldn't go defensive after changing his line twice. Ragusa still on the edge of what is prohibited, in my opinion. But you know, it's not a football game here. If you get tapped on your shoulder, you cannot just lie down and cry for the referee. You know, it is hard, and basically these cars are, you know, big cars on bigger circuits. But you know, in karting, which is a real contact sport, nothing can really happen with a little bit of contact. In here, though, all carnage can break loose by a single wing end plate being on the track. It's insane. But Eros looking really promising through here. Just has to get a really good exit into Spoon, and he might be able to make a dive work into the chicane, but it's looking like Ragusa has the better exit.
He's just got overall better grip in that Spoon section. Eros once again closing down over here, of course, but is it enough? The question is, or the answer to that question is most likely no. He's rather close here once again, has maybe a little look. It's rather close to the gearbox though, that has to be said, in the middle of the chicane. But Ragusa is making sure that he gets his exit right.
Forza Masciulli, attenzione!
Yep, this time though, Mashuli is indeed rather close. Attention, here comes Eros Mashuli around the outside of the first corner. Can he do it? The answer is yes, but there was a lot of squeezing on the apex of the corner there.
Yeah, really nice job from the Italian drivers, both of them by the way. But Mashuli definitely having the better of the two there. What a move that was from Eros, really hats off.
In the meantime, the gap between Martin Hodes and Heesterbeek, 1.3 seconds. Heesterbeek definitely being the one who's quicker, although not by much, only by about 1 to 2 tenths per lap. So that is going to be enough though, for Heesterbeek to get in the DRS zone definitely before the end of the race.
Yeah, Rens is just gone. I mean, 2 seconds
gone,
clear. I mean, if his tires aren't gonna collapse, which I'm sure they aren't. I mean, Rens is a controlled driver. He's not born yesterday, so to speak. Martin Hodes should fight for second place here and pray for something to go wrong for Rens. But apart from that, he's not gonna catch up at this rate. And you know, with Ruud having 4 laps younger tires, it's insane.
Who would have thought that Heesterbeek could be on the podium, even in P2 if he can get past Hodes?
You have nice confidence in your teammate. Do you hear that, Ruud? Huh? Do you hear that?
Of course.
No, joking, you're joking. But now, well, earlier stages of the race, I would definitely say the same. I wouldn't think it, but you know, Ruud has definitely proved us all wrong, and definitely catching up to Martin now. Hopefully they can keep together. Also a nice result for the time being for Michele Di Alessandro. He started P9, he's now driving in P4. Would be a really nice job from him. Seems like Ragusa isn't able to return Eros Mashuli the favor. Mashuli just being gone like the wind. It seems already has a second clear of Ragusa, and yeah, that's going. That's not showing any promise. 2.5 seconds now the lead from Rens, so in 1 lap time, half a second more than Rens had. So Hodes should be really watching in his rear view mirrors now.
By the way, De Walt now is in 9th as well. We'll be most likely happy with that one, being in front of names such as Gobby, although Gobby has been closing him down over the course of the last couple of laps. Let's hope for De Walt that he can stay in 9th place. Would be a good result for him. I'm sure he would be happy with that.
Jody Scheckter would be proud.
Exactly.
So Hodes now, what does he have left to spare? He is not outside the DRS range anymore. Ruud Heesterbeek managed to get another 2 tenths out of his last lap. Around 6 tenths is now the gap, and we can make ourselves up for another battle. I think after the spoon turn, Heesterbeek just has to position himself up for a nice drop and maybe dive Hodes early as the chicane. Maybe he can do it with the DRS. Hodes isn't easy to pass with the higher top speed though.
Yeah, we are yet to find out what kind of pace Heesterbeek really has, or I should say what kind of straight line speed Heesterbeek really has got. But yeah. I doubt it will be a lot more than Hodes, of course.
Well, you know what he got, don't you? Or you honestly don't?
Probably somewhere about 320, something like that, I would say.
Yeah.
We don't have a go speed like setup, it's not like we are doing 340 here around this track.
Well, let's see what it is going to turn out. Ruud Heesterbeek, here he goes. Can he get a good enough toe in order to get close enough to Hodes? He is certainly not at the moment.
Starting to run out of time, of course, as well. Run out of laps.
Yeah.
There are a couple more laps to go. He needs to get a bit closer if he can. He's definitely the one who was quicker on the fresher set of tires, but can he get a lot closer? Here he has DRS. Let's see what kind of top speed he has got. That will be a good test for us. He actually hits 300 and 28. I was completely wrong.
Nice.
328 for Heesterbeek.
So he can make the fast work. I mean, Hodes isn't edging that with. He has 327 obviously, but he cannot edge that without DRS.
Yeah, exactly. Must be running journey setup, I think.
Yeah, Heesterbeek just has to reserve the momentum after the last chicane. But also, I mean, Heesterbeek's tires are just like I said 10 times earlier. I mean, they are 4 laps older. They are 4 laps fresher. Hopefully, they are as well conserved as that they still have the advantage. But I think in 3-4 laps time, Hodas will definitely notice the 18 laps. That 18 laps is still a long distance in Suzuka on even hard tires.
Well said. It's only going to be harder for Hodas most likely.
A little bit of a mistake from Heesterbeek though. Loses out big time there. Just getting over the curb, had to hold back a little bit of throttle. That costs him 3/4 tenths. So here we go once more, and we have 4 laps remaining in this, well, exciting Grand Prix. So definitely we can state that. I mean, it has been so eventful, definitely for the lead of this race as well. And Hodas is still fighting for a second place podium here. And Ruud Heesterbeek isn't satisfied with P3, otherwise he wouldn't drive his heart out here. And he's definitely looking strong. But like we said earlier in earlier broadcast, reaching a driver and catching up to one is one thing, but passing on someone is a completely different story. And that is easily shown right here.
That's definitely the case. Picks up quite a bit of dirty air. Yes, he's got the slipstream, but it's just not enough at the moment for Heesterbeek. Maybe he needs to make use of a mistake from Hodas. Hodas going a bit wiggly on the exit of turn 11, the hairpin. And once again, he has got the straight line speed. It's so easy for a driver to defend, having a more straight line speed. He has a little bit of a lock up though in second spoon, and now Heesterbeek is a bit closer than he was before. Maybe it's bounce time right now for Heesterbeek. This is maybe the only or the best chance he's going to get. Down 130R. Once again, Hodas has good straight line speed. We know that. He needs to have a good run on the final chicane here.
Yeah, this is really nice driving from him, braking a little bit later, controllably, and here he has to put the pedal to the metal, but he has a little bit of a twitchy moment there. He tries to get the toe as soon as possible. Is he close enough though? Here is where the speed has to come into play. Hodas can still defend. He is defending the outside. No way Heesterbeek can do it.
That's indeed no way. He's being too far back. Hodas defending nicely the inside there. And we don't see a lot of losses on the outside there. Although having said that, we saw a very opportunistic move from Klopp obviously. We saw it was a beautiful move. And Heesterbeek not able to do it there. And he's got to start a bit over again, Chris. I mean, he's once again dropped to about 8 tenths behind Hodas. Has to do something yet again, but Hodas last time round made a bit of a mistake in spoon corner, which helped him. Bit of a lock up from Hodas in the hairpin. Hodas definitely pushing as well, and maybe now is the time where he starts to feel that those tires are starting to fall off. As you have mentioned, Chris, 18 laps on those tires are quite a bit when you still have the end of the race. But yeah, Heesterbeek himself on 4 laps fresher tires.
I hope for Heesterbeek that he is able to do it though. Nothing bad to Hodas, but I really give the underdog a favor, you know? I mean, a second place for Heesterbeek would be huge, and I think Martin would still be satisfied with a top 3, I mean, a third podium spot. But nevertheless, he's gonna fight every inch of the way to make life as hard as he possibly can for Ruud. And another lap gone, and ooh, this is not going to happen again. He has a little bit of a twitchy moment that he can fight up to it.
Yeah, a bit of traction loss for Heesterbeek there on the prime tire at the rear. It's too far back. Gonna have to wait once again.
2 laps.
Ooh, it's getting more twitchy though for Heesterbeek. The wall now in the meantime dropped back to P11, so couldn't stick to 9th place. And Hoyer in the end got 10th. I mean, it's been a silent race for Hoyer since he had that incident. But still coming in 10th place, does Mitchie Hoyer.
And Klopp obviously going to win this race. Not the kind of driver that throws a race win into the bin with 3.8 seconds lead with 1.5 laps to go. There's no way he is going to give that away. Nevertheless, it's not yet certain what's going to happen for P2. It's yet ever so exciting, and well, behind that, Ragusa should be, you know, a little bit disappointed. He had such a promising pace, but he just got a little bit stuck in traffic as well. A little bit over aggression at some points of the race, and you know, I wouldn't say he threw it away, but you know, it's just really unfortunate for him, because he definitely has the race pace.
Once again, Rens Klopp completes another lap. The final lap of the race for Rens Klopp, and Heesterbeek once again is close behind, but not close enough. It doesn't look like it. Then his main straight, Hodes doesn't even have to defend, and the gap is still a couple of tenths.
Yeah, definitely, and this was maybe the last time that Heesterbeek would have any opportunity of getting alongside, and Hodes driving, well, definitely well enough in order to avoid any, you know, cock-ups during the last lap of this race. But you know, going back to Rens, he is just my driver of the day. I have to say. I mean, he was just in a controlled zone, didn't get that pole position, but came alongside in Q2 on second place, and he just drove his lungs out. Heesterbeek still trying though with all his effort, but it's just not going to be enough. He has to be. He is dependent, for a mistake from Hodes, who is not gonna give that one to him. Heesterbeek now using every inch of the way and burning every inch of rubber on his canvas, but it's just not enough. Rens Klopp here from Twister Racing is going to win the Formula SimRacing ACE Grand Prix of Suzuka after this last chicane, where Sergio Perez once joked with the engineers like, no power, loss of power, you know. But nothing like that for Rens Klopp. He wins on the Suzuka circuit, and it's a well-deserved win indeed. Martin Hodes brings it home into second, and Ruud Heesterbeek can be really proud and happy with himself with P3. But the typical racing driver, I don't think he will be happy. I think he will be disappointed, because he sees the winning car right in front of him, and he realizes it was so close. Maybe after a few hours he will actually be really happy, but he has every reason to be happy. It's an Italian train behind that. Michele Di Alessandro in P4, Eros Masciuli in P5, Ragusa in P6, Gerges in P7, Ivanov in P8, Gobbi still racing strong with Michi Hoyer, but Gobbi is still in P9. Hoyer not doing anything crazy at the moment. Already had a crooked suspension earlier on in the race with the crash with him and the Networks car. Gobbi makes it home to P9. And they even drive on. Here we go. Into turn 1. But no, it's Hoyer into P10. De Wild Nel takes it home into P12 or P11. Ben Horrell in P12. Alessio Campos, mi amico, takes it home into P13. So great drive from these guys. Nobody has been lapped, except obviously the guys who didn't finish, which were quite a bunch. Definitely after that first lap, where everyone was basically safely through, until Marek Godic thought it would be. It was well, you know, the race was well underway for him to make an overtaking maneuver in the S's, you know, and all hell just broke loose. But overall, I would definitely give this race an 8.5 or maybe a 9 even out of 10. Definitely amusing to see. Really happy for Rens Klopp as well.
Yeah, it was nice to see a battle for the lead, at least for once. Those are obviously the ones who are most entertaining, and it's good to see this. Top 3 being separated by under 4 seconds, and a good drive from Heesterbeek as well in P3. Let's not take that one away from him. But Rens Klopp definitely, as you have said already, Chris, being the driver of the day, and it was one of those controlled days or races, I should say, for Rens Klopp, like we used to see from him.
Yeah, definitely, and I think a lot of these drivers will be happy with the result. And like I said earlier, Di Alessandro from P9 to P4, great result from him. missed out onto the podium, but you know that was not beyond not in his reach with 6.5 seconds between him and Heesterbeek. Heesterbeek drove that well. Masudi should be happy with a P5 after that brilliant maneuver between him and Giuseppe Ragusa, who should be a little bit disappointing after getting that nice pole position into and finishing P6. But it was just not his day, so to speak. So that's a nice starter of the weekend, I should say. Tomorrow we obviously have Pro and WC, nevertheless, but the Pro guys are gonna warm us all up in order for the main event to be hyped and psyched. No technical difficulty since Sam Jones is back onto the cameras. We finally got him back from his vacation on Greece, and he is well, working in our basement yet again with a closed door, right, Sam? You cannot escape us anymore. So now it's gonna be all a nice day tomorrow. For now, the racing is done, and you have to say it once more. What a race it has been. Hopefully, we get this much exciting racing tomorrow. Jeroen, you're gonna make sure we're gonna get the exciting racing in WC, aren't you?
Our race is being excited not by only one driver, in my opinion, but I'll try my best.
No, just forget to brake in turn 1 and give us exciting.
Yeah.
You know, carnage crash. No, it's obviously a nice day to look out for. For the time being, though, I thank you very much for watching. Hopefully, you'll be with us tomorrow in the afternoon, where the circus opens its doors at, what is it, 3:30. CST?
Yeah, it's 3:30 our time. It's like 30 UK time. I believe. Right. Oh no, it's what is it? It's 4 starts the race our time, so it's 3 PM UK time when the race starts for Pro.
Alright. Well, hopefully you'll be there and bring your friends along, bring the popcorn. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great evening for now. Bye bye.
Sound.